Good evening. Is that working? Yes. Good evening, councillors, staff, ladies and gentlemen in the gallery, and to those listening at home. Please be seated while Councillor Lloyd delivers the blessing. Thank you.
Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together tonight. We're all here, each and every one of us, because we care about our community and we want to do what's right for it. Give us clear minds, open hearts as we talk things through. Help us to act with honesty and integrity, and give us the courage to speak up for what we believe is good and fair, even when it's not easy. Keep us always respectful, grounded, and focused on what really matters. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Councillor Lloyd. Before I begin, I'll do the acknowledgement of country. We acknowledge the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, who are the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which we meet today, and we pay respects to them, their culture and their elders, past, present and emerging. It is now 7 o'clock and I declare the meeting open. There is no announcement of visitors. I'll just read the disclaimer. Members of the public are cautioned against taking any action on council decisions on items in which they may have an interest until such time as they've seen a copy of the minutes of the meeting or have been advised in writing by city staff. We'll also let people know we are live streaming, so please note that all council meetings are digitally recorded and live streamed on the city's YouTube channel, except for confidential agenda items, during which time the live stream will be temporarily suspended. Thank you. Record of attendance. Deputy Mayor Councillor Serena Williams is an apology, as is Councillor Kylie Dalton. So their apologies. Other than that, we're all here. Are there any disclosures of interest, councillors? No disclosures of interest. Announcements of presiding member. Just wanted to congratulate the staff for the rock review. It was a very good night, well attended, and I think all that went enjoyed the night, and I think it's really good to see that we've got different events that attract different areas of our community, so that one was really well received. So congratulations to the acting director, Mrs. Maxine Aarons. Could you pass it on to the team? Thank you. Also let councillors know that last Friday night, or maybe the Friday before, I attended the farewell evening for the Forest Lakes Family Centre, which is effectively closing down. So I just wanted to thank them for their service and wish the staff all the best for their future, whatever it is they decide to do. And I think they were there for about 20 years, so they did service a lot of people in the community. So disappointing to see that they've closed up, but that's the powers that be. So yeah, just wanted to wish the family, the staff and all their families all the very best, and thank them for their service to the City of Gosnells over the years. And that is all from me. Are there any reports from delegates? Thank you. That moves on to question time. So we have a few questions here. First of all, we'll have Mr. Leon Walker. We haven't got too many questions tonight, Mr. Walker, so you can ask all of your questions. Thank you.
Before I start, Madam Mayor, I did have a ring from a previous councillor, saying the live streaming wasn't working.
We are having a small issue. We upgraded the touch panel and it was working this morning, but it's just showing me red at the moment.
We're working on it, Mr. Walker.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My first question is, does the Local Government Act 1995 provide that the CEO is the returning officer for local government elections and that the council may appoint another party as returning officer if that party agrees?
Mr. CEO, I'll respond to that question.
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Oh, I could have said that. Yes, Mr. Walker, thank you.
If the CEO is the returning officer in the local government elections this year, will the city save approximately $400,000 by not having to pay the West Australian Electoral Commission?
I'll ask Mr. Bradbrook to respond to that question. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We wouldn't save $400,000 because we'd still have costs incurred in terms of producing the ballot papers, printing and distributing those, doing the count. So I think that it would probably be less, but we would need some staff to run that. But we certainly wouldn't. I wouldn't have thought save $400,000.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Your next question.
Does the performance of the West Australian Electoral Commission in the recent state election preclude their being considered to act for the city in the next council election?
I think the short answer is no, but I know Mr. CEO wants to give you more information than that.
You're absolutely right. The answer is no, it doesn't preclude it, but the city did experience similar issues in terms of running out of ballot papers at our last election, and we'll be making that advice known to the inquiry that's occurring at the moment.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Your next question.
My last question. Does the Local Government Act 1995, any regulation empowered by the Act, or any local law preclude a person who shot their neighbour's dog being a councillor?
The answer to that is no.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Next we have Kylie Webster. Thank you.
Good evening. I was just hoping to get an update on the Harmony Fields application, specifically whether there's been more information received and whether the city intends to apply for an extension to get its report into MODAP.
Thank you, and I will get Mr Terrellant to respond to your question. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The applicants have got until April the 16th to provide additional information, and we haven't got any new information as yet. If there was an extension of time contemplated, it would need to be requested by the applicant rather than the city.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Leah Sislak. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. With the city's family activities term planner, most programs are on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Would the city consider incorporating more activities on Wednesdays or even Fridays besides the park play?
Thank you, and the Acting Director for Community Engagement, Maxine Aarons, will answer your question.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, we can certainly look to amend the programme based on where there's demand. So yeah, we'll look at that.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, and next we have Tracy O'Neill. Thank you. Oh, no, we don't.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I was recently made aware that a number of local governments like Fremantle, East Fremantle, Town of Vincent, Coburn, Bayswater and some others, they're just ones I can remember, offer a rebate for the purchase of reusable nappy products, swimming pants and feminine hygiene products in a bid to reduce landfill. I can't see anything at the City of Gosnells for that. Is that something we offer or we could look into?
It is not something that we offer currently, and if council had an appetite to look into that, they could.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Next we have Daniel Stevens. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. My first question is about city libraries. City of Canning is sitting on a population of 95,800. City of Gosnells has a population of 132,000. City of Canning has 5 libraries. City of Gosnells has 4. How big does the City of Gosnells population need to get before being able to get a 5th library?
Thank you, Mr Stevens. Mr CEO has some response for you on that. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, we could, council's discretion, have a 5th library at any time, or a 3rd, or go to 3 libraries at any time. But I would point out to Mr Stevens that if you look at the City of Canning, they do have 3 industrial areas. The City of Gosnells has only got 2, and industrial areas tend to be what makes significant amount of rates and doesn't incur significant costs. So Canning are in a much more fortunate position than Gosnells, having the whole of the Canning Vale industrial area and Welshpool industrial area in their district.
I also let Mr Stevens know that I'm a member of the libraries in the City of Canning, so they're servicing our community as well, which isn't that fantastic?
All right, thank you. So my second question is about the city parks. Why aren't the city's parks not listed in how many is in each suburb on the city's website? So, yeah.
Mr CEO, thank you.
Madam Mayor, that information is included in the local open space strategy and a revised draft that will be back to council shortly.
Thank you, Mr Stevens. There's no public statements? No. That brings us to, thank you, that brings us to the end of public question and statement time. We'll now move on to the confirmation of minutes. Can I get a mover for that, please? Thank you, Councillor McDonald, and seconded by Councillor Singh. Thank you. Are there any questions on that, councillors? No? If you could please cast your vote. Thank you. Thank Thank you. That has been carried. Now go on to the receiving of petitions and presentations. Are there any? No? Thank you. Applications of leave of absence. I have one leave of application for leave of absence from Councillor Betts, who is seeking to have a leave of absence for the 29th of the 4th for personal reasons. And a mover for that, please. Thank you, Councillor Dewhurst. Seconder, Councillor Lloyd. Thank you. Councillors, if you could please cast your vote on that. Thank you. Councillor Betts, you do not need to come to the council meeting on the 29th of April. Thank you. Enjoy your time. Were there any other leaves of absence? No. Thank you. No questions of which due notice is moving forward, so we'll move on to 13.1.1, the appointment of the Director for Planning and Development. Can I get a mover for this, please? Councillor Islam to move this, Councillor Betts to second this. Councillor Islam, would you like to speak to this item? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to take a moment to recognise and thank Chris Derblink, the Director of Planning, for exceptional planning expert for his invaluable service and contribution to the city. Over the years, Chris has been the driving force behind the countless successful plans and strategies for the city. With insight, precision, and a deep understanding of the bigger picture, he has helped shape our city. Thank you, Chris. Planning sounds easy, but it's not. It's so complicated. And particularly thanks from me as a new elected member with no planning background, nothing, and you made my job so much easier, and I would say, and all the elected members would say the same thing. We are incredibly grateful for all you have done for us. Thank you for your dedication and impact, and you leave behind a legacy we will continue to build on. And I'm confident the CEO is appointing the right person to fill this role. Nevertheless, please join me in showing our appreciation and wish all the best, Chris, for your retirement. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Slam. Who was the seconder? Councillor Betts, would you like to speak to this item?
I think Councillor Islam has summed it up very nicely, and I think I would echo that I certainly didn't have a lot of planning knowledge. Learned a little bit while I was in Parliament, but Chris was always very patient, and no question was considered dumb. He didn't ever make me feel dumb, even though I might have been. And he was perhaps has a good way of hiding it, I don't know. But thanks very much, Chris, for your service. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillors, are we going to go all the way around? Everyone going to speak? Councillor Adams, would you like to go next? Thanks, Chris. No, thanks. Councillor Dewhurst, thank you.
So, Chris's and my relationship, I think, has been absolutely excellent. We've certainly battled. I don't like regulation, red tape. I don't like bureaucracy. I don't like things that you can't do on properties. And Chris would always have to pull me back and say, well, actually, Glenn, the law says that you have to abide by this. And I'm sure over the years I've really got under his goat by, throwing my toys out of my pram and saying, this is not right. But he's just always remained level-headed, calm, very professional. I'll miss you. I just hope the new fella can take it. I'm sure he will. But also, I do wish you best what you're doing, and I wish you your best in your hobbies of your motor vehicles and stuff. And as you know, I've got an interest in that as well. So, yeah, I'm sure we'll meet again, and probably even tomorrow. You'll still be going to work tomorrow. So, but I just wanted to say thank you very much. I know I rubbed you up the wrong way a fair few times, but you were always professional, and that was the best part about it. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Dewhurst. Would anyone else like to speak to this item? I'll speak to this item then. Like my fellow councillors, Councillor Talentire, as you've been frequently known as. I too would like to thank you for all the work you've done for the City of Gosnells. It's been fantastic working with you, and I guess it's obviously now public that you're planning on leaving us, and we'll be appointing someone else who I'm sure that you do approve of as well, so that's nice. And I want to wish you all the very best in whatever you and Jean decide to do with caravanning and motorbike riding and vintage trucks and all the rest of it. And also, I'm not sure who's going to be able to answer my questions when I ask 3 at the same time. And Chris says to me, can I just finish this one first? He's very good at that. So thank you so much, Chris, for all your work you've done at the City of Gosnells. It's really been much appreciated, and we do all wish you all the very best for your future endeavours. So thank you, councillors. Is there anyone else that wants to grab a tissue or... He's with us for a few more months yet, ladies and gentlemen, in the gallery. So, councillors, if you'd like to cast your vote on the actual item, that would be great. Thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. Now move on to 13.2.1, the draft local planning policy, exemption from planning approval for minor development proposals. Can I get a mover? Councillor Adams to move that and Councillor Baines to second that. Councillor Adams would like to speak to this item. Councillor Baines? Would anybody else like to speak? Councillor Dewhurst, thank you.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I've got an amendment. I propose that the staff recommendation be amended by the inclusion of the following text after the words contained in Appendix 1 of this report. Subject to the following changes to Table 1, development exempt from development approval. In row 3, column 1, delete the words pool pump. In row 3, column 3, subsection A, against point G, delete the words and is located within 20 metres of a dwelling of the property. And B, amend point H to read, a shed shall be no greater than 10 metres square in area and 2.4 metres in height on residential zones, land, and 20 metres square and 3 metres in height on all other land. In row 6, horse shelters and open side animal enclosures, column 3, replace with 16 square metres with 20 square metres, and replace row 9, parking commercial vehicles, with the following. Parking commercial vehicles in residential zones, 1 vehicle where the proposed parking meets column A acceptable criteria of local planning policy number 2.1 of commercial vehicle parking, or other zones other than residential, 2 vehicles where the proposed parking meets column A for the following reasons. In relation to the pool pump sheds, the provision should relate to sheds generally, as this amenity impacts of sheds do not change based on whether or not it contains a pool pump. My amendment also suggests that the size of the shed permitted without planning approval in rural areas should be 20 metres square rather than 10 metres square as proposed. The change to point G in row 3, column 3 relates to fences in rural areas. The change would allow solid fences to be built on property boundaries if that is what neighbours agree to do. The City has never been involved in granting development approvals for boundary fences, and this has not caused the issue. It should be left to the adjoining property owners to decide whether, what sort of fence and what they want between their properties. In relation to animal shelters, I propose the size of the shelters exempt from the requirement to obtain development approval should be increased from 16 metres square to 20 metres square. And finally, Council's local planning policy on commercial vehicle parking already allows the parking of up to 2 vehicles on a land other than residential land. The position should reflect this in the proposed policy.
Seeking a seconder?
Yes, please.
Councillor Betts to second that. Would you like to speak to that?
Yeah, I'll keep it quick. In relation to the pool pump sheds, I just want the word pool pump taken out of there. A lot of people on rural areas have actually pump sheds, just for pumps, and also even a couple of them have because they've got no water on their properties, some of these properties. And I know one guy has a shed built for his desalination because his water's a bit salty. So I just wanted that taken out of there. Also, the amendment to suggested size, so a person on a 450 metre square block can have a 10 metre square shed, and we're saying that someone sitting on 5, 10 or 15 acres or even 2 acres can only have that without development approval. We're saying we're going to go to 20 because 10 square metres is not big enough to actually put in, like for instance, I've got 2 pump sheds on my place, and they certainly need to be bigger than 10 square metres. The second thing is, in regards to the fences along rural in areas, it says that The reason I'm saying that we should be able to let them determine, the neighbours determine, let's get taken away a bit of the red tape and the bureaucracy of it all. But also I do note that we'd actually made a decision for the councillors that were here, I'm not sure who was here at the time, where in Calvin Road we actually stipulated that they put a solid 1.8 metre fence between two adjoining properties. So we've actually set that before, so I'm just saying let's just go along what we've always been doing and also not get involved in it. In relation to animal shelters, well, that's self-explanatory. It's getting hotter and hotter. The sun's moving. The extra 4 metre square on that, I think, will be sufficient for the animals to actually move around, particularly if the shelters are right out in the middle of the paddock where there's nothing behind them, because you'll find that they've got to keep moving all the time. And if you've got 2 or 3 animals in there, I mean, a person could build multiple shelters, but that's not what we want. We just only want one up there. And the council commercial vehicle parking allows parking up 2 vehicles on land that is not residential land now, so the position should reflect the proposed policy. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Dewhurst. Just, the seconder, would you like to speak to this item? Councillors, anyone got any questions on this? I just have a question, I just want to talk about the commercial vehicles. So, Councillor Dewhurst, you're suggesting that people should be able to have 2 trucks on their property from this? Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is that commercial vehicles under our planning scheme actually relates to trailers as well. So an example would be for actually if the guy has a Dodge Ram and he uses that during the week for work, and he uses that for the weekend to go fishing, and he uses his trailer for work during the week, and that's 2 commercial vehicles.
Okay, thank you. And I'll just ask the Director for Planning, could this then allow for 2 trucks if this is put into place, or would it just be a truck and a trailer?
Madam Mayor, the way the policy is drafted at the moment, could be 2 vehicles up to 8.5 metres long, which would cover off on a ram, or 1 commercial vehicle and trailer, like a truck and trailer of up to 18.5 metres long. So this, the proposal here in the exemption actually ties in with the acceptable criteria under the policy, so they actually do work together.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions or want to speak to the amendment at all? No, councillors, did you want to close? Okay, councillor, if you want to vote on the amendment, please. Thank you, that has been carried. And now we put the amendment back with the original item. Is there any further debate on the original item? Councillor Betts?
Just like to say, I think this is really a positive thing to reduce the amount of paperwork that's required, so that for certain things there is no requirement for planning approval, but only a building permit required. And I think the work that's been done in reducing the number of things that have to be applied for with a development application. There's quite a number of things in this document that we're approving. I think that's good. We don't know just how many events a year that will people will not have to apply for a development application. We don't have the figures for that, but I think it's certainly a move in the right direction. So I encourage everyone to support it.
Thank you, Councillor Betts. Would anybody else like to speak to the original item? Councillor Dewhurst, thank you.
I just want to make it very, very clear that you can't just go and build something now. You still need a building permit to actually go ahead. So if the camera's working and people listening to this, don't go start ordering stuff from Stratco. You need a building permit first.
I guess it's also worth mentioning that it still has to fit the guidelines of what the Planning Act says as well. So if you're outside of that, you'll still need a planning approval. So any other questions or debate on this, councillors? No? If you could please cast your vote. Thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. Okay, now move on to 13.3.1, the proposed lease of a portion of Lot 1, 27 Grant Street, Orange Grove, to Karinya Equestrian Park Management Committee Incorporated. Can I get a mover? Councillor Dewhurst to move that. Councillor McDonald to second that. Councillor Dewhurst would like to speak to this item. Councillor McDonald. Would anybody else like to speak to this item? No, thank you. If you could please cast your vote. Thank you. That has been carried. Item number 13.3.2, the proposed new lease to the Crestwood Homeowners Association Incorporated. Can I get a mover for this? Councillor Islam to move this and Councillor Singh to second this. Councillor Islam, would you like to speak to this? Councillor Singh, would anybody else like to speak to this item? No, councillors, if you could please cast your vote. Thank you. Thank you, that has been carried. 13.5.1, the review of the City of Gosnells local laws, fencing local law 2017, public health local law 2017, dogs local law 2020. Can I get a mover for this, please? Councillor Lloyd to move this and Councillor Baines to second this. Councillor Lloyd, would you like to speak to this? Councillor Baines, would anybody else like to speak to this item? No. Councillors, please cast your vote. Thank you. Thank you, that has been carried. Item 13.5.2, the review of the planning delegation, the determination of development applications. Can I get a mover for this, please? Councillor Zhang, thank you, and Councillor Islam, thank you. Councillor Zhang, would you like to speak to this item? Councillor Islam, no, thank you. Councillors, anybody else like to speak to this item? No, if you could please cast your vote, thank you. Thank you, that has been carried. Moving on to the 13.5.3, the panel for 2024 Arboriculture Services. Can I get a mover for this, please? Councillor Adams to move this and Councillor McDonald to second this. Is there any debate on this item, councillors? No, if you'd like to cast your vote, thank you. Someone hasn't voted yet. Thank you. That has been carried. Item 13.5.4, the panel for 2025, supply and installation of rubber softfall. Can I get a mover for this, please? Councillor Zhang to move this and Councillor Dewhurst to second this. Councillors, is there any debate on this item? No? Councillors, if you could please cast your vote. Thank you. Thank you, that has been carried. We'll now move on to motions of which previous notice has been given. 14.1, the advocacy position in support of all-in, all-out elections for local government. Can I get a mover for this, please? Councillor McDonald to move this and a seconder. Councillor Dewhurst to second this. Councillor McDonald, would you like to speak to this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Last year, the West Australian Local Government Association sought feedback on its electoral advocacy positions. One question related to whether the sector supported the current electoral system, where half of the councillor positions became vacant every 2 years, or the alternative, all-in, all-out elections, noting that this term relates to the electoral system rather than the fact that all councillors need to change. The City's response, resolved by Council, supported the continuation of the current system, and this was the view ultimately adopted by the West Australian Local Government Association, or WALGA. Since then, the City has received a quote from the West Australian Electoral Commission to conduct the 2025 ordinary elections, and this quote estimates the cost to be $431,889. This is a very significant amount of money which is being diverted from supporting the local community. Further, while this cost estimate represents a 5.76% increase on the cost of the last election in 2023, it is noted that the 2023 election included a mayoral election, which cost around $80,000. Consequently, the real cost of conducting the ordinary election for councillors in 2025 is rising by about 30%. This type of cost increase is unsustainable. One way to reduce election costs is to move to all-in, all-out elections. Under such a system, elections would be held every 4 years instead of every 2. This option would also reduce elector fatigue by reducing the frequency at which people are asked to vote. While elections for half of the councillors every second year may have been supported in the past to ensure continuation of some council members following an election, it is hard to conceive a situation where all sitting councillors would be defeated at an election. However, if this were to occur, it would reflect a community desire which would be supported. Finally, the state government holds elections every 4 years. The Commonwealth Government holds elections every 3 years. These government spheres operate effectively without elections every 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McDonald. Councillor Dewhurst is the seconder. Did you want to speak to this item? Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak to this item? Thank you, Councillor Betts.
If this is passed, this is, as I understand, is that the CEO prepare a advocacy position. That doesn't mean that the council has adopted that as our position. No.
No. It goes to zone for Welga, I believe, is the next step. So to advocate through Welga as well. So.
We as a council?
No. It's not legal yet. So, would anybody else like to speak to this item? Councillor Dewhurst, thank you.
Just a couple of questions first. I'd like to hear the from the CEO in regards to what could he perceive the benefits or the cons in regards to it. Yep. I'm sort of sitting on the fence of this, and I mean, in regards to if we did get a whole new council in, what impulse would that be on the staff? And also, could it be seen as holding up, I'd like you to make comment, would you see it holding up direction of council? Could you see it where policies have been agreed that, you know, we put a barbecue in such park, but the new policy comes in and says, well, we don't want to put that in the park. Can you see any concerns in that way, if you know where I'm going?
Mr. CEO, happy to respond to that.
Madam Mayor, I think Councillor Dewhurst reflects on some of the arguments for continuing with the status quo. And I think the important point to remember is that there's no right or wrong answer in any of these electoral type of questions. And how electoral systems ultimately play out is often, you know, it's the will of the people, and different scenarios can be thrown up. But I think that the point that's been made in the motion that's before you tonight is that the 30% cost increase year on year, like for like, is effectively unsustainable. So if you're looking at costs, that's a real reason to think about doing something differently. But certainly the government has consistently, over many decades, accepted the argument that local government should be half in, half out to preserve continuity and an ongoing operation.
Do you want to follow on for that?
And we have to use electoral commission, don't we?
Mr. CEO, thank you.
Madam Mayor, you don't have to use them, but if you want to do a postal election, you do have to use them. You could run an in-person election conducted by myself as the returning officer. I could delegate that to somebody else. The struggle with an in-person election is that you almost certainly would get a significantly lower voter turnout, and one of the things that people are judged on in relation to elections is the size of the turnout. So that becomes the challenge if you want to do it in-house, is a lower voter turnout. The second challenge is that the Electoral Commission is at least impartial, and the Act, when it sort of makes the CEO responsible for the conduct of elections, means that, you know, somebody who's worked with a group of people is then suddenly meant to be independent, and that becomes very difficult. Even if the person is independent, the perception of lack of independence is the challenge in that situation. So the WALGA have argued consistently, almost since the Local Government Act was introduced in 1995, for there to be competition in the electoral space to run postal elections. That's never been supported. The government's always said that the WAEC is the most knowledgeable, most competent, most capable organisation to run elections. Some could smile at that comment, but that is the response that's been given. So. But I think that there are reasonably strong arguments that when you've got a monopoly, outcomes aren't necessarily the best.
Councillor Dewhurst.
In regards to the costs, and Councillor McDonald brought up the $400,000. What about, is that included all the staff time, or is that on top of the city's got to pay for that as well, for the doing the counts and stuff?
Thank you.
So, Madam Mayor, the city pays for the city staff, so they're the Electoral Commission's costs.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Can I speak to it now?
Yes,
Yep.
thank
So
you.
I'll be supporting Councillor McDonald's report. I'd like to see where it goes. I'm still 50-50. I can see the bad and the good for what he's suggesting, and but I'd like to give it a crack and see what it comes back from Welga and the state. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to speak in... Sorry, Councillor Good, did you want to speak? Okay. Go. I'll allow you to go first. Go for it. Thank you. I'll go first, then you can say anything else you need to say. I just will be supporting your motion as well, Councillor McDonald. Thank you for bringing it up. This is actually common practice on the East Coast, and it's always quite all in, all out, and very, very rarely do they have an entire spill. I was talking to one of the CEOs that has been a CEO for many years on the East Coast, and he says very rarely is there an entire spill, so that's not really a risk. But during the course of my debate here, I do want to ask Mr Bradbrook, for $439,000, what does that equate to in a rate rise? How much of a percent would we have to raise the rates to gather $439,000, 31,000, about 0.5%, maybe? 0.5%, there you go, I knew my maths already, didn't need to ask him. So, I mean, I know that we could use that every 2 years, we could be using that somewhere else on a new park upgrade or other services for the community, so I'd be really interested in seeing this go forth and happen. I don't think we have a risk of being an entire spill. We're quite well adjusted with our community, and I think most other local councils are, so it would be up to the people if they wanted to do a complete spill. So, yes, I'll be supporting your motion. Thank you, Councillor McDonald. Councillor Good, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I too will be totally supporting Councillor McDonald's motion, and I applaud it actually. Unlike Councillor Dewhurst, it's a little bit 50-50. I'm 100% in favour of it. You actually stole a couple of things I was actually going to use, the 537 other local governments across Australia, and you're absolutely spot on. The key, identifying number of key issues here, but the fact of roughly $215,000 per annum, if you like to put it on a per annum perspective, yeah, history has shown that it's just not now worth it. And the reality is, when you get elected, we're all part-timers, apart from the mayor. We're all doing the best we can. But when you get elected, you get guidance from directors and staff, the chief executive officer to guide you. The West Australian Parliament, 59 seats, and it's a whole bunch of new people. Again, as you said earlier, you don't have generally the whole lot. Certain exceptions to the rule. In certain parliaments, there have been many people have been kicked out in one hit, a la Queensland about 12 years ago. They had 93 seats in their parliament, and about 89 of them changed over. But it's a rarity. So the reality is, you probably of 13, arguably 5 or 6 will always sort of be there. It just depends. It's democracy. But I think Councillor McDonald's request here to get the CEO to do a report, I would argue most strongly, once every 4 years is perfectly fine, perfectly ample. We don't need to do it every 2 years. It's time to break the mould. One other key point in Western Australia is that we tend to think that we do everything right. Well, sometimes the eastern states have got some pretty good ideas too. And some of the way our thinking, I'm going, guys, we don't need to do this. So yes, I support the motion. I hope you can do a good advocacy, and I hope Wolga actually listen and read. But I'm very much supportive of it. I think it's a terrific initiative, back at 100%.
Thank you, Councillor Good. Councillor Betts, thank you.
Yeah. I very much favour the idea of only half of the councillors being replaced every 2 years, because I think that assures a continuity, whereas if it's all out every 4 years, that doesn't guarantee continuity. But the enormous cost of the election of $400,000, I think it's a risk worth taking, probably to have all out every 4 years and save that $400,000, even though I prefer the benefit of guaranteed continuity. I'm not sure it's worth $400,000, so I think it's certainly worth looking at. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Betts. Councillor Dewhurst, you have a question?
Just one last question. How much closer or any more feedback have you had in regards to electronic voting?
Thank you, Mr CEO.
Madam Mayor, the Act has sort of broadly made provision for it, but the government, I don't think, is anywhere close to it yet. We certainly can't do it until they've developed associated regulations to allow it to happen.
Next question, thank you.
Being an enterprising city as we are, I'm sure that we could push it and develop the program ourselves, and we could then sell it off to the rest of the state.
Is it a question or a
profit.
statement? Yes, we could.
Madam Mayor, I can remember having a discussion with a former minister who was suggesting that it be developed by the Electoral Commission. I suggested a few boxes of pizza, a few cans of Coke and a few 18-year-olds, and we'd have it done in a weekend. Yeah.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak on this item? Councillor McDonald, would you like to close? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just taking up Councillor Abetts' final point there, I think you're quite right. I don't think this meets any cost-benefit analysis. I think too that assuming that metropolitan councils across West Australia adopted or used the WA Electoral Commission for their elections, then based on the cost is based on people polled, and if you added all of that up, that would come to approximately $7.3 million. So that's quite a significant saving across, and I think that's a point that I'll certainly, if passed tonight, I'll certainly be arguing at the Welga Zone meeting. And also the other point about all in, all out, I feel that descriptor doesn't necessarily accurately reflect the reality. Historically, a majority of experienced elected members are often re-elected, and in any case, as was previously said, that if they're not, then that's the will of the ratepayers. Thank you.
Thank you, councillors. If you'd like to cast your vote on that one. Thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. I know that urgent business is next, but I did mean to let everyone know that Councillor Dewhurst has been at a symposium today for the Carrican Black Cockatoo research, and so he did ask for permission not to wear a suit and tie tonight. So just want to let everyone know that that was granted earlier. So, okay, there is no urgent business, no confidential matters, and I declare the meeting closed at 7:42. Thank you.